was a divine plan. America didn't happen by chance. All this was part of the divine plan that this would come about. The Moors then had a plan for a new world order. A one world, new world order. That was a Moorish plan originally. The Europeans inherited that plan through the Masonic Lodge, which was the vehicle by which we civilized and taught the Europeans. And so now when we hear them saying it, we ready to throw the baby with the bathwater, thinking it's from them. No, we originally laid out that plan for one divine world order. And they merely inherited it. And when we fell off, they still espoused it. Even though many of them are not carrying out right and exact, because you got to understand that the European Masons who run this government, who run the international scene, that they're under certain oaths and obligations. There's certain things that they can't do. There's certain things that they can't speak on. They're functioning more or less in a custodial capacity or fiduciary capacity. They will make custodians. When we were falling from power, we said, all right, you see this throne? We're going to make you custodians of this throne. You're going to become the keepers of the light, not the bearers of the light. We were the bearers of the light. We was one who was able to actually go out there and re-educate the whole human family of planet Earth. We made them keepers, which means that it's but so much they could speak on. You look at the degree structure. Water freezes at what? 32 degrees, right? Well, the highest they go is 32 degrees, which means what? Their wisdom, their water, their wisdom is locked up. It's froze shut. They can't get out here teaching like we can. It's froze shut. And maybe once in a while, one of them may be honored with the honorary 33rd degree, and then they throw it out a little more. Maybe they can say a few things, but not too much. You see what I'm saying? And so we put those Europeans in power when we fell from power, because at that time, the Catholic Church, through the Franciscan and Dominican orders, was destroying everything that the Moors had built up. All the civilization, all the high science that we had developed and cultivated and built up, they was destroying on a global level. And so we put the Europeans and Masons in power. We refer to them as the mystic Turks, or chief protectors of the sacred shrine. The shrine of what? The shrine of more science, of more civilization that we had cultivated for so long. We put them there in charge of it. And so they're custodians. And then sometimes happens that custodians forget their place and they start to think that they're the ones. But we got to remind them, y'all not the ones. Y'all the custodians. Y'all was to hold it and preserve it until we wake back up and then get this thing back on its original divine plan. So we are to convey to America that we're not about overthrowing this. No. As a matter of fact, we're about getting this thing back function on its original divine purpose. Because if we don't, it's going to be destroyed. As you see what's happening right now on a global level. America's going down a path now of self-destruction. And if we don't wake up and first save ourselves, and then in turn save America, it's going to be all over with.
Staying focused for Jesus.
Thanks for waking up with us.
How you doing, everybody? Welcome back to Staying Focused for Jesus. This is probably going to be a little short and sweet one. I didn't plan on making this because I've spoken on this before, and it wasn't in my, my plans to speak on it right now. But you speak as the Spirit leads you, and so I want you to look at these pictures. You see this picture, and we see that they are what we call black. We have another man. We see he is what we call black. We see these two men right here. See the man on the left, he has more of the Negroid type of features. But we also see the man on the right, he has those features. His nose is just it's not as flat, it's more broad. And some of you may know what that means in regards to the scriptures, and you know, if a person that was Israel descent could be a Levitical priest and all these different things. But we see these men right here, they are what we consider black. They're both black. Yes, they obviously have different facial features, but they would still be considered what we call black. Then we have another man, a little bit lighter, it seems, from the picture. It's kind of hard to tell, because you know these are older pictures, but you can get a general idea. This man also right here, we see he is what we would call black. So what do all these men have in common? You should know from the title of the video. These are ancient Edomites. These are ancient Edomites, and I have pictures. I have to go back and find them. This is what I just had on hand right now when I was doing some other studies, and I downloaded these to add to my collection. And like I was saying, we can go back and even farther in ancient history and see that the Edomites, they are black. So I made a post about exactly what we are talking about, and I want to make sure I read it because it inspired this video. There's a conspiracy against the white man, even though the white man has his own conspiracies that he has done. Most don't even realize that there is a greater conspiracy against them. This conspiracy is one that makes the white man the most vile, hated enemy of the world, yet the Bible doesn't teach this. Oh my God, like, how could you say such a thing? What type of Hebrew are you supposed to be? You're siding with the enemy, you're siding with the white man. Blah, 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 blah. God teaches that the Edomites have a perpetual hatred against their brother that goes above and beyond a natural hatred. More of a unnatural, a unrighteous abhorring. You may respond with, Edom is the white man though. This is incorrect and false doctrine. True Edom conspired to hide his true identity by having another people take on his identity. Furthermore, these same white people took on the identity of Israel, with the true Edomites knowing who true Israel is. This put the sole focus of the white man posing as Edom, should say sole focus on, but you know autocorrect does. This put the sole focus on the white man posing as Edom, while the true Edom hides in the shadows. O Lord, my strength and my fortress and my refuge in the day of affliction, the Gentiles shall come unto thee from the ends of the earth, and shall say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity in things wherein there is no profit. So we know who the Gentiles are. Y'all are saying that the Gentiles are the white people. The Bible is saying that the Gentiles are going to come from the ends of the earth and say that we have inherited lies from our fathers. So how are you going to sit here and say that the Gentiles are the white people, and the Gentiles are the Edomites, right? When we can trace the Gentile lineage, and we can also trace the Edomite lineage. It doesn't say that about the Edomites. It doesn't say that the Edomites are going to come to God from the ends of the earth and shall surely say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity in things wherein there is no profit. Edom did not inherit lies. Esau did not inherit lies because Esau knew better. So if you're saying that Edom is the white man, you're saying that he's going to be utterly destroyed. The Bible doesn't teach that. The Bible doesn't teach that Edom is going to come from the ends of the earth. The Bible says that Edom is going to be destroyed because of what he did to his brother, what he's done to us with that perpetual hatred. But here we see the Gentiles, who we know are what we call the so-called white man, so-called white woman. They're going to come from the ends of the earth and shall surely say, surely our fathers have inherited lies, vanity in things wherein there is no profit. So what you're saying isn't making any sense according to the scriptures. This is how you know people don't really believe the Bible they say they believe. They don't let the Bible just speak to them and tell them what God is saying, and for them to speak it according to the Spirit, as the Spirit gives them the mouth to speak it and the boldness to speak it. They say, okay, I see what you're saying, but no, it doesn't fit what I want it to fit. So if you inherited something, that means you got it from somebody. The current and future generations of white people will eventually awaken to the fact that they were lied to by their forefathers. So you're saying that Edom is the white man. Where does it say that the Edomites are going to do that? Edom knows what's going on. Is this not exactly what we are starting to see? We are starting to see white people awakening, saying, you know, we were wrong. This is wrong. This is a lie. What we were taught is a lie too. We're not going to stand for this. I have messages where Ashkenazi Jews have sent me a message and say, I know that we are not the people and that it was all a lie, because the evidence and the truth speaks for itself. God is showing them. I'm just a vessel that God is using, but I can't force anybody to believe it. God, through the Spirit, must give the revelation. Only thing I can do is speak the message, and then a person can either receive it or not receive it by going in prayer and asking God, is this true? So we see many Gentiles are awakening up to this fact, and they're supporting it. They're supporting the truth because they love the truth. And they don't want to dwell in this wicked world no more. They see the lies. They see the lies of their own people. They see the lies of blacks. But they love truth more, and that's what it boils down to. Not just the fact that Jesus is a man of color, black man. Yes, that matters in regard to Bible prophecy. Because if you say that Jesus was white, you're saying that Jesus came from another lineage. Not just simply not true. There are many other reasons why it's just against the Bible to say that Jesus is white, because it doesn't fit Bible prophecy. So that's why it matters. But in regards to salvation, if Jesus is black, he black. If he's white, he white. As long as he is who he say he is. But you have many white people that are awakening up to this fact. They say, yeah, we know that Jesus is black, but we love him regardless because of what he did for us. In the same way, when many of us thought that Jesus was white, it didn't matter to us because we accepted the sacrifice that he had made. Granted, we were in ignorance to that fact or whatnot, but it was the word that spoke to us, which is why Jesus said, the words that I speak to you, they are spirit and they are life. See, y'all think that this whole thing about black Jesus, white Jesus is just something that's just, it don't matter or whatever. But God purposely allowed it. He allowed a whole bunch of black people to think that Jesus was white to test us and to prove us. And he allowed a whole bunch of white people to think that Jesus was also white. And then the revelation came. So now the revelations come that Jesus is a black man, and it's, really mainstream now. You have both sides that are being tested. White people have walked in white supremacy, right? Thinking that Jesus was white. Now they found out Jesus is black. They say, oh, hell no. I'm not bowing down to no black Messiah. Why? Because of how they feel in their hearts to black people. Then on the flip side, you got black people finding out that, oh, Jesus is black. It's a test also for them of how you're going to treat your neighbor. How you going to love your neighbor, you love yourself. Oh, all white people going to hell. Where's that in the Bible? I didn't know that a person goes to hell because they have white skin. If that's the case, then many Israelites would have gone to hell when God struck them with vitiligo or leprosy, taking their melanin away. You don't go to hell because you got white skin. You go to hell because you reject the gospel. That's why you go to hell. Like, y'all need to get it together, man. If you think somebody goes to hell because of their skin color, then I don't know. That's just the dumbest thing I ever heard. That's just dumb. That's just stupid. You tell me that because a person has white skin, it's impossible for them to come to salvation understanding that they are guilty of sin. You're telling me that it's impossible for white people to understand that they are sinners and that they need a savior, which is the Lord Jesus Christ. That's what you're telling me. That's what you're telling me. Even though God told us to go to all the ends of the earth, all the ends of the world, and to preach the gospel to all nations. Like, y'all sound stupid, and you wonder why people don't take us serious. You wonder why people don't take us serious, because you sitting there talking about white supremacy, but then you're putting your black supremacy over Christ. You're putting your black supremacy over Christ, and that is the issue. In the same way with white supremacy. White supremacy puts its whiteness over Christ. So it goes on, and I said, so the question you must ask yourself is, where did the forefathers get the lies? Let me also add this, because the Spirit just spoke this to me. How do you know that you did not come from a lineage of a slave master, white slave master, sleeping with a black Hebrew woman? How do you know that you did not come from that lineage? You saying that, no, I don't. How do you know? Oh, I did the DNA test. So, again, got you again. So you trust the DNA test of white men that you're speaking against to tell you who you are. You see, I trust the Lord in regards to revealing who I am. I trust the Lord in regards to revealing who I am, which he has done. So that would mean that you have what we call, you say really it ain't white DNA, but y'all bear with me. You got that white DNA in you. You saying that, no, you ain't got it in you because you have the blackest of the blackest. Man, stop it. Stop it. If you think that you're deceived. So if you got that white DNA in you, that means that, hey, salvation don't need to be opened up to you because you got that white DNA in you. And later down the line, your children may come out looking white. You know, it's a possibility. How do you know? You got the DNA in you. One of your children may decide they want to marry a white man if it's a female, or a white woman if it's a male. How them children gonna come out looking? Is that gene, that white gene that's in you that passed to them, is it gonna pass down and be activated when they marry a white man or a white woman? Is that gene in your child gonna activate and then combine with that other person to produce a child that got you looking like what's really going on? This is impossible because you lack understanding. So just based off of that means that majority of the slaves is exempt from salvation. If it's based off of that alone, that means that majority of the slaves, majority of the women that were raped by the white slave masters, that means that those children who ultimately led up to us, a lot of us, that means that we are exempt from salvation on that technicality alone. Well, no, we more black than white because blase. Well, where did white people come from? Because technically there's no such thing as white people. Where did they come from? Did they not come from what we call black people? So your argument is still holds no weight, holds no value in regards to salvation. So the question you must ask yourself is, where did the forefathers get the lies? Where did the forefathers of the Gentiles get these lies that they taught us in the school books and everything, blase, blase? Yeah, we knew inwardly, man, this ain't right. Something ain't right about this. So this brings me back to the video I posted a few days ago with the Moor, who was talking about how they had the original plan of the New World Order and that they gave it to the Europeans to be keepers of it. And that if they didn't get things back on course, things wouldn't go as planned. That's the video I shared at the beginning of this video. They had this original plan. It wasn't originally the white man's plan. Y'all gotta understand this. The law that Edom is the white man must be brought down. Yes, the white man has had his hand in the cookie jar, but it doesn't negate the truth at hand. We don't want to accept that Edom is black with a lot of them posing as Hebrew Israelites because we don't want to face the fact that it's more so our own people that is doing the most damage behind the scenes, in that the white man is more a follower of the plan than the conductor and constructor of the plan. We want to blame the white man for everything, but we want to disregard our very own people. We want to blame the white man for the transatlantic slave trade, yet the system of the transatlantic slave trade was gotten from Edom, was gotten from the Arabs, and also many Hamites and even our own people of Israel. We don't want to address that though. We don't want to address that the transatlantic slave trade lasted about, you know what I'm saying, 4 or 5 or 6 centuries, depending on how you count it. You can count it from the time it started up until now. But the trans-sub-Saharan slave trade lasted longer, and it was worse than this one. And even if this transatlantic slave trade has lasted longer, this transatlantic slave trade is based off of the previous slave trade of Edom that helped them, as we see in the book of Obadiah. They stood in the way when the Gentiles, the strangers, came in. So how you going to sit here and say that the Gentiles is the white people and then Edom is the white people, but then in Obadiah said that the Gentiles came in and that Edom, our brother, helped them and stood in the way to lead us into captivity? Like, man, y'all got to get it together. Like, good Lord. And no wonder they look at us like we stupid. Like, it's so irritating and so frustrating because we are such a stiff-necked and prideful people that we will not humble ourselves just to accept the truth for what it is. Just let the truth be the truth. And in due time, God, the Most High, will exalt each and every one of us. But you sitting here thinking that you're going to be exalted when you lying and manipulating people. You making a people that ain't even a people. And I'm going to tell you the real reason for that. And I just mentioned it, but maybe you didn't catch it. We don't want to accept that Edom is black with a lot of them posing as Hebrew Israelites. A lot of your Hebrew Israelites that are saying that they are Hebrews, they're of Edom. They're Moors. They're Islamic. A lot of your IUIC leaders, they are, in fact, Edomites posing as Hebrew Israelites. Now, you know, on a DNA level, they can technically lay hold to that claim because we know how the children came out. They were twins and stuff like that. But we know what we're talking about when we say specifically Hebrew Israelites of the tribe of of the tribes of Jacob, aka Israel. We know that, but technically they would be considered Hebrews also. I know y'all, you want to play word games and everything, but they were twins, man. Come on now, they were twins, coming from the same bloodline, coming out one after another. Yes, I know it branched off, and then it leads all the way down to that lineage where Christ came through. I understand all that, but we also must remember that where Christ came through, it traces all the way back to Adam and Eve, and Adam and Eve traces down to Esau also. So let's not get it twisted trying to play these word games. So I talk about the pictures. We saw the pictures. Then we read the scripture. It says, thou shalt not abhor an Edomite, because abhorring something is greater than hating something. For he is thy brother. Thou shalt not abhor an Egyptian, because thou was a stranger. You see, God got all bases covered. He got all bases covered. You wanna be cool with the other black folks of Ham because they black, but then you feel some type of way about white people because of what they're currently doing, but then you don't want to address that what they're currently doing, they got it from other black people. When they went over there, their scholars and their people, their wise men went over there into Egypt and learned from the ancient Egyptians, from the ancient mystic people, from the ancient wise men of Egypt, of Ham, of Edom, and also of Israel. But y'all don't want to address that. You don't want to address how it was even Israel that sent our own brother into captivity, faked his death, and he went into captivity. Yes, they made amends, but you see what I'm talking about. We don't want to address that. We don't want to address how one of the oldest slaves to live, called Charlie, he tells you how they tricked them to getting on the slave ships. They used black people. It was black people who tricked them to get on the slave ships, telling them that they were coming over there for work. They were going to America for work. And then when they gave them a tour of the slave ship, when they got down to the bottom of the slave ship, that was a wrap. Which is why Charlie said that he didn't fool with black folks like that. And his best friend growing up in the Western times was white people who treated him better than his own black folks did, that sent him over here by tricking him. But we don't want to talk about that. That's historical fact. Matter of fact, I'm gonna drop that video next. I've been sitting on that for a while. I mentioned it. I'm gonna drop that video. You see, we only want to address one part of the slave narratives and everything that we listen to, where they talk about the things they went through over here in American captivity. But we don't want to address everything before that. Oh no, that don't matter. But then we call ourselves historians. We study history. We study this. We study that. You're studying what you want to study. You're studying what you want to study, and you are accepting what you want to accept. And that is not righteous. You cannot make a judgment like that. That's like being in a court and then you accepting and receiving whatever evidence you want to accept and receive, and then you rejecting the rest of the evidence. No, you gotta look at all the evidence. You gotta look at the whole story. You gotta look even where you don't want to look. Because where you don't want to look is gonna either break your case or make your case even that much more stronger. That's why I'm not afraid to go look and see what other people say, in regard to certain topics, because I know it's going to prove my point that much more. That's why you see me touch on so many different things. That's why you see me give different sources. That's why you see me not be biased toward, what I want to believe or whatever. I'm gonna let the word speak for itself. I'm gonna let the Spirit speak to me and then guide me. Is this true, Lord? Show me. Okay, I see it right there. Now I need to see it from the other perspective, to know how to argue against it. Because if it's true, then it will be able to stand up even against the argument that people are going to try to make against it. That's more so the strength of your case, not in what you can necessarily prove. But the strength of your case is more so in what the other person is going to say, and you being able to refute or come against what they're saying based off of what they are saying, and show like this ain't what you're talking about. What you're trying to make it say, it don't say it. Then you can prove your case and convince others. But y'all ain't convincing nobody because you confused. But y'all the ones that get majority of the views or whatever because you ain't convicting people of sin. I don't mind if I don't get, that much support. I know I'm speaking the truth. And if I'm wrong, then guess what? As I always say, I will deal with my judgment. You ain't got to worry about that. You're not gonna be like, oh, staying focused for Jesus is burning in hell. And if you did, how long is that gonna last? You can be like, well, that's what he get. He shouldn't have been on the videos making false videos, preaching false doctrine. He got what he deserved. The judgment is just. That's how you're gonna be. But see, they ain't gonna tell you all that. So you ain't gotta worry about me. If I'm wrong, then guess what? I will receive my right judgment. If you're wrong, hey, same thing. It is what it is. So we go on and says, these laws were laws to govern Israel, with the laws differentiating between Israel and family and strangers. Edom is called brother, kinfolk. Kinfolk. I believe the Most High knew there would be this argument, which is why in the same scripture it mentioned the Egyptians and how we dwell in the land as strangers. Esau and Jacob were twin brothers, bloodline. So y'all not making no sense. You're talking about that you hate the white man and everything, this and that. But then the Bible said that they were brothers. They were blood brothers. It don't make no sense you saying that the white man doesn't come from the lineage, but then you saying that the white man is Esau, is the Edomites. Like, but this is who people take serious. If I say this stuff, then I don't know what I'm talking about because I'm a dumb Christian. Because I profess to be a Christian. Yes, I'm a Christian. I'm a follower of Christ. I am a follower of Messiah. But I'm also a Hebrew by blood. I didn't know I couldn't be both. I didn't know I couldn't be a father and a man of God and a preacher and a prophet. I didn't know I couldn't do all those things. I didn't know that I could work on cars and also paint cars. I didn't know that I can't pull out a motor and transmission and at the same time be doing body work. I didn't know that. I didn't know. I just thought I was one dimensional and I can only be one thing. I didn't know that I could be a king yet also a servant. No, I can only be one. I can either be a servant or I can either be a king, but I can't be both. I can't be a king that serves the people. I can't be a servant. I can't be a king that serves God, the King of Kings. No, I can't do that. I can't paint cars and do carpentry and redo floors and I can't do masonry work like building concrete steps and doing forming to pour the concrete and stuff like that. No, I can't do that. I'm incapable of doing that. Just like I'm incapable of being a Hebrew Israelite, but also professing to be a Christian. I can't be a Hebrew and be a Christian at the same time. Man, stop it. Maybe you can't because you're one-dimensional. You're incapable. You're trapped in your box. I ain't in no box, bruh. I ain't in no box. I ain't in no box. You in the box. You stuck in the box. Apostle Paul said he became all things unto all men, hoping to save some. Esau and Jacob were twin brothers, which means that they were blood brothers. They looked alike. So Edomites today look like Hebrew Israelites. You cannot say that Esau is white and say Jacob is black, but then say the Gentiles are white and don't come from the lineage of Jacob. Even if Esau came out white, he would have been considered albino, still having Negroid features, not Caucasian. So the people that you are professing to be Edomites today, they have what we call Caucasian features, Caucasian skull structures, their noses and everything, their lips and everything, right? So even if Esau came out white, he would have looked albino because he would have still had Negroid features with the complexion of what we call white people. So you still dead in the water. Yeah, water. Because I got that Negro in me, water. They were twin brothers. One came out rough, hairy, like a grown man, and the other one came out smooth, came out more comely, came out more beautiful. You know how I know I can relate to that? Because when David came out like good looking. David came out comely. My firstborn. He came out a good looking child. He still is a good looking child. Everywhere my wife takes him, oh, he's such a beautiful boy. He's so beautiful. He's so handsome. They call my son beautiful. I don't say that. Yeah, into my eyes, he's beautiful and everything. That's my baby boy. I don't care. He was ugly. Yeah, he would be ugly to me. I was like, boy, boy, I love you, boy. I love you. I love you. I don't know what happened, but I love you. You know? Because that's my boy. But he came out comely. He came out beautiful. But guess what? Abraham, my second son, he didn't come out that way. He didn't come out comely. He came out rough. He didn't come out hairy, but he came out rough. I'm like, good Lord, boy, like, boy, you looking kind of rough there, like, you know, what's going on? You know what I'm saying? But now he has grown into his comeliness. You know, he's a good looking baby. He's handsome. He's cute. But David came out the womb like, yeah, you know, who wanted? The boy when he was young, he had the ladies already. He was talking to the ladies and wooing the ladies. That's how he came out. My son Abraham didn't come out like that. So when I read that scripture, I understand it. When God gave me the wisdom and the knowledge and the understanding, then I understand it that much more. I'm like, oh yeah, I can relate to that. One came out rough and the other one didn't. Esau just happened to come out rough, more hairy, and the other brother, the twin, Jacob, he came out smooth, but they were twins. Y'all talking about the ruddy, he came out white because his blood showed through his skin. Y'all saying it in a mocking way, but they were twins. Like babies don't even come out like that. Babies don't come out like that. Babies come out dull. I don't care how dark they are. They come out dull because they've been in the womb. They've been in urine, in feces. No, that ain't true. That ain't true. Well, go look at the base pairs of DNA and go look at what one of them is. Guanine, which is a base pair of DNA. What is guanine? It's poop. It's excrement. That's why children come out the way that they do, because they're in the water and their skin shrivels up while you're in the water, while you're in the womb. In the same way, when you get in the water, you stay in the water too long, what happens? Your skin shrivels up and it loses its color. Then when you go get out and you get under the light, you get warm, what happens? Your skin goes back to its natural form and you have color in you because your body absorbs light. Go into the sun, you will start to glow. If I go into the sun, then my body will absorb it and I start to glisten. My skin bronzes. How do I know? Because you can look at me and tell. How do I know also? Because I used to have a drop top Camaro. I used to work in the sun a lot. When I had a Camaro, I used to ride around with the top down because I always wanted a drop top Camaro. And when I had the opportunity to get one, I got one. And when I used to drive it, I used to always have the top down. If I could have the top down, the top was down. and I got dark. My skin bronzed. But in the wintertime, what happens? You lighten up because you're not getting as much sun. Like, don't y'all see the patterns? So when all children come out the womb, they look dull, they look pale. Not just what we call white babies. Black ones do too. So these are the things they don't want you to think about. Esau came out rough. They say he came out red and ruddy. Well, red meaning ruddy, just like his brother. Nothing to do with his blood showing through his skin. Like, what do y'all be pissing me off. Y'all be pissing me off. What pisses me off most is that people take y'all serious. That what pissed me off the most, that people really take y'all serious. Like y'all are really studying something, and what you're saying, you wouldn't say what you're saying in front of white scholars. You wouldn't dare say it. You know you wouldn't. You know you wouldn't, because you know you would get eaten up alive. You would get eaten up. So you say it where you know you can get away with it. What I say on Facebook, I say it on YouTube. I said it in your face. I call you on the phone and tell it to you. How you want it? How you want it? Y'all say what y'all say on Facebook. But then when somebody talking to you another type of way and really showing that power, your whole demeanor changes. Y'all man, stop it. Stop it. But yeah, just a little short video. But like I said, Esau came out ruddy, same complexion as his brother, but he was more hairy. Well, he was hairy. Doesn't mean that Jacob didn't have any hair, but he was just smooth. Because we see in the scriptures where many of the prophets, it said that they were hairy. It wasn't just Esau. That's how you know that lineage's bloodline. If I'm not mistaken, it was Elijah. They were asking about him. It said describe him. They said that he was a hairy man. He had this, he had that, or whatever. They said, oh, you're talking about Elijah. If I'm not mistaken, it was Elijah. Elijah was a hairy man. Well, that makes sense because Esau was hairy, and he comes from that lineage. So obviously, with the whoever married who, then it eventually led up to Elijah. If I'm mistaken between the two, I apologize, but I think it was Elijah. Ultimately leading up to Elijah, and that DNA gene kicked in where he was hairy. And I think that's one of the reasons why they were mocking him, because they understood these things. Like, yeah, you probably Esau because you hairy, but just because he was hairy doesn't mean he was from the lineage of Esau. It just means that he comes from the lineage, yeah, because Esau came out, and then you have Jacob, right? So the gene is in there. That's why you have to study genetics to understand these things. These folks ain't studying no genetics for real, for real. They studying E1, B1 stuff and everything, and they confused about it because they can't even explain it. So, again, Esau came out rough. More rough looking than his brother. Esau came out looking like a man, like he was ready for the world, most likely. And Jacob came out, you know what I'm saying, comely. Not rough, not looking like a rough baby. Some of y'all understand that, because you had children, and you know so-and-so came out, oh, a beautiful baby. And the other one came out looking rough, like, good Lord, boy. Or good Lord, girl. And then when the children grow up, then the rough-looking one that came out rough, they grow into their beauty. And now they ain't rough no more. They ain't looking rough. So yeah, it's a combination talking about his roughness in regards to him being more hairy than his brother, but also in his demeanor, how he looked as a child. So yeah, just want to drop this little quick video. But with that being said, God bless each and every one of you in Jesus Christ's name. As always, stay focused for Jesus. And as you know, the truth is not debated. It is declared. Stop letting these people deceive you. You got your eyes focused on the white man so much that you're going to really miss the real enemy when the end times really hits. Oh, it's hitting right now, but it ain't hit how it's going to hit. It's going to hit even harder. So we must understand these things so we will not be deceived and then be led off thinking that we are walking in the light. And then we have an unrighteous hatred in our hearts talking about that so-and-so ain't going to make it to heaven, when Christ himself said that you scribes and Pharisees, you shut up the way to heaven, knowing the way to heaven, so others cannot enter in when you yourselves, you're not going in. Think about that.
Thanks for waking up with us.